This is Peter Beckett, I'm the Village Marketer, and today I want to talk about telling me a story, right? Why? Is because stories are so damn powerful. They truly are. John, I agree with you. They are powerful. And really, probably the 6 most powerful words in any language, whether it's English or Spanish or Chinese or whatever it is, okay? The 6 most powerful words are, let me tell you a story. Because when you hear that, you listen, right? You truly listen. Because people have been hardwired to stories ever since Stone Age times, right? Now think about that. And if you're not using a story and you're in sales, then you're crazy. Because if you're just trying to sell people, they're not going to turn on to you at all, right? Use a story and use lots of them. And if you use stories, I can tell you they will not just listen to you, but they'll get engaged with you and they'll love what you're trying to share with them, and more importantly else, they'll probably buy from you as well. So I want to share these 6 things with you, right? These are 6 things you need to have a story about. 1, why you do what you do. I mean, to be quite frank, people don't care, what's he going to say about it? They don't care very much about you at all until they know why you do what you're doing, right? So have your story in place. Tell them why you do what you do. Show them your enthusiasm. Show them your belief. Show them your whatever it is you have about your why, your mission in life, why it's important to you, right? That is absolutely essential. If you don't have your story right for that, do me a favor, before you go to bed tonight, get it done. Because that's the reason why you're failing in sales, right? You need to have a story. And by the way, before I forget this, can you see this? This is my Kindle. Can you see this? Lead with a story, right? Paul Smith. Brilliant. Now, this is nothing to do with affiliate links, right? I don't get anything for selling you stuff. But this guy is brilliant, truly. Lead with a story, Paul Smith. I've got nearly all of my ideas of where my stories are coming from this guy, okay? So if you can get it, do it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. He takes you through all sorts of examples of what you need in order to become a great salesperson and using effective stories. And the stories he shares with you will blow your mind. They're really fantastic. Justira, thank you very much. Oh, great. Nitisha, thank you very much. Thanks for calling. Lovely to have you all. Okay. So the first one is why you do what you do, all right? I better get going. The second one is credibility, right? Now, the easiest way to get credibility is to use a story, right? And use a story by saying, here is an example of, and give an example, and don't make this up, make it real, right? Here's an example of when what I had to offer didn't work. And I can tell you, I had one of these experiences just 20 minutes ago, right? This person, lovely person, right? Lovely guy, okay? Met him on Facebook, and we were talking about various things, and he came down to the particular offer that I had, all right? And I truly believe in the offer. I think it's a great offer. But it was not the right offer for this guy. It wasn't the right offer. And I would have been going against all my principles just for commission to say, buy it. Because if I said buy it, he'd have bought it, right? So, and I use that, and I'm using it with you right now, and I'm hoping I'm building my credibility in doing that, right? And you should do the same. Because I can tell you now, by showing people that there are certain occasions, and if I was with a prospect, I would spell out what happened just 30 minutes ago, rather than do this on the video, right? And I spelled out why this wasn't appropriate. And I can tell you, people thank you for that. They truly do. So your second story is about your credibility, right? The third one is the problem. Many times you'll be talking with a prospect, okay? They don't know they've got a problem. They don't know, okay? And you've got to find out what it is. And because if you ask them, they say, everything's fine, thanks, Peter, no problem, thanks for calling, right? You've got to use a story from some other customer, for example, or other prospect or other experience you've had to get people to understand that maybe you've got the same problem, right? So you're going to actually encourage them into the idea of getting to the point where, hey, maybe there's something I need to deal with here, by using a third person, a third party, and a story about somebody else, right? It is really the easiest way to get people to introduce people to the potential that they may have a problem, rather than going bang straight out, by the way, boom, 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 boom. Because people get defensive, right? And they soften to a story. That's my point to you. Amanda, thanks. It is. They do love stories. Next one, so that's the problem, right? Getting people to accept they've got a problem. Have a story for that. The next one is the objections. Now, you're always going to get objections if you go head first into things without bringing people along on the journey, right? You can avoid most of the objections, I can tell you, right, if you face them up front and use a story to do that, okay? By saying, by the way, some people I've spoken to before had an issue because, and just boom, whatever you're selling, tell them the story. Tell them this is what the objections were, okay? And answer how you answered it. So be proactive. Don't sit back and wait for people to send you an objection. Be proactive. Preempt the objection and use a story to give the solution. All right? Now, if this is getting too complicated, send me a personal message, all right? And we'll sit and chat about it. I'm happy to do that because it's my passion, right? The next one, negotiating the price. Now, when you're doing that, sure you need a story, all right? How do you say this? You've got to show that the price is to the benefit of the buyer, not to the necessity of the seller, right? To the benefit of the buyer. This is the most important thing of all. In other words, what happens if you don't solve the problem? Think about that. If your solution to the problem is there and is acceptable, but they're quibbling with the price, then really talk to them about it. Tell me what's going to happen. Tell me in your words what's going to happen if we don't solve this problem we've uncovered together. What's going to happen? And get them to tell you. And I can tell you, they'll soon start realizing that perhaps the cost of your solution is a lot less than the cost of having their continuing problem. All right? So have your story ready for that. And the final one, urgency. Okay? You do need a sense of urgency, right? And now, I mean, I was in life insurance many years ago, right? Before most of you were born, right? And I can tell you it was easy. Easy in terms of a sense of urgency in life insurance because, I mean, are you going to wake up in the morning? Etc. Right? You can be as blunt as that if you wanted to. But I'm not recommending you do this. What I'm simply saying is have a story in place regarding a sense of urgency, okay? Look at the possible negative circumstances that would occur if you don't solve it, like I just mentioned before, in terms of negotiating the price, right? So there's my 6 thoughts for you about why having a story and having a series of stories is important to you in sales, right? Very important to you. Now, I've always got something before I go, right? And by the way, these free reports I love doing. I truly love it. So for those people out there who think I'm crazy doing all this work for people, let me tell you something. It's good for business. It really is good for business, right? I'm happy to do it. If I can add value to people and they get enjoyment out of it and they get some value out of it, guess what? My credibility goes up. Guess what? People talk to me. Guess what? People send me messages, ask me for help, ask me for advice, and that's my business, all right? So think long term, not short term. This one here, worst sales advice ever given. The worst sales advice ever given. Yeah, Lisa, thank you very much. Love you too. This is classic. Now, maybe 6 or 7 of these I've actually had given to me, right? But the rest I found from Mr. Google, right? Did the work for you. So, but this, I'll tell you what, if you're in sales, you better make sure you get it, right? Worst sales advice ever given, because you want to make sure you aren't making these mistakes, right? Not just the stories you're using, but make sure you're not making these mistakes. And I'll draw your attention to one other thing. And this is another reason why I love doing these reports, okay? Because on the last page, this is the best advice I've ever given. And this happens to be a link, right? And in fact, it's the only link in the report. And this link goes to a particular coaching program I'm offering right now. So there you go, there's my plug, all right? But that's in the report, okay? So if you want it, ask me for it. Anyway, that's it. I hope you got some value for it. Thank you very much, all you guys, for watching. I love the fact you give me some of your precious, valuable time. Okay, all the best. Think of some great stories. Okay, take care. Bye for now.